tracks, but I feel like, everything that we've done so far this year to kind of build momentum and build what we know and what we've been doing has been really good. So working with Randall and the guys, everybody at RCR, ECR has gone well, and hope to continue the success we've had so far.
Thank you. Scott Walsh.
Thanks. Afternoon, Kyle. Thanks for taking a few minutes here. You've obviously had success at Pocono on the Cup Series side recently, but in particular KBM Motorsports with the in the Truck Series there has won 7 of the last 8 races at Pocono. Can you talk a little bit about and you've done it with a variety of drivers too. Can you talk a little bit about what's kind of been the secret or the key to the success in the Truck Series for the organization there at Pocono, and how's it looking for this season's race?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Pocono has been a place where we really focused on in the early days when when the series first started going there. We got our butt kicked by KHI the first year really, really bad, and so I was not too thrilled about that. And so we put a lot of emphasis on getting better there and focusing on that place. And ever since then, we've been really, really fast. So a lot of great drivers have driven our stuff there. We also have really great stuff there. So it's cool when we're able to go there and score those wins. This will be our first time showing up with Team Chevy. So look forward to our Silverados being fast out there. And of course, me being behind the wheel of the Zariz Transport Silverado, hoping that we can get another win with me. And for KBM, it'll be our 100th. It's been talked about way too long that we've been kind of trying to look for that win, get that win. So we'd like to knock that out of the way.
Thank you.
Mike Moninghoff.
Yeah, real quick, I guess our question is, why have you been so dominant recently at Pocono, and how does that track kind of suit you?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. When it first got the repave, I struggled on it. I wasn't necessarily great with the repave, but as it's kind of aged and gotten some years on it, I feel like I've really been able to adapt well to it. We've had some great success there last 5-6 years, so maybe even longer than that. So just a lot of hard work, a lot of emphasis, and things kind of put on the different lines that you need and where you got to be good. What do you focus on for a good race car? Because all 3 turns are so different at Pocono that you can't set up perfectly for every single one of them. So how do you drive each corner differently to help your setup for the next one, or vice versa? So just a lot of stuff that we've kind of done on behind the scenes at JGR, but now moving to RCR, hopefully that success will still follow with how I like to drive the track.
All right, let's go to Chet White.
Kyle, you have gone from being one of the most polarizing figure in the sport to being one of the most loved almost overnight. And that didn't happen because you changed. It happened just with the team and the manufacturer switch. So 2-part question here. Number 1, were you shocked by that? And number 2, considering that you once thrived on those boos and, got most of your energy from that hatred, where are you now getting it from?
Yeah, so to me, I feel like there's a lot of things that have kind of gone on into the transition, if you will. Polarizing to me more so kind of means whatever you do, there's always a limelight on it, and there's always attention drawn to it. So if you want to use the word most hated, then go for it. That's fine. That's kind of how it was. But obviously just being at Toyota JGR, whatever, for as long as we were, the reasons leaving there and things like that, just kind of the way that the transition happened of me going over to RCR, a lot of fans took my side. There was a lot of behind the scenes that was kind of aired on that, and then a lot of the TV show that came about of last year, the following of the Chase for the Championship or whatever show on USA Network, and then also just family time, being with Brexton, racing with him, everything, all that's kind of picked up. So there's a lot of things, but I enjoy it. It's fun. It's great. Rowdy Nation's always been strong supporters of mine. So it's great to be able to have that fan support and them still be there with you and for you when you're changing teams and going through all of that. It's not an easy time. So, having all of their support has meant the world to us this year. And they continue to pull for me on Sundays and Brexton during the week when he races. So it's really fun to be able to go out there and have the fan support.
All right, let's go to Mitchell Brewer.
Kyle, the next 9 races leading into the playoffs, they all are at vastly different tracks. How do you prepare for this next stretch of races?
Well, I think you just take one at a time. You obviously kind of look back on your success or your non-success at some of the races that you've had so far this year, and you build off of that for the races that are coming up that are similar to that. Phoenix, for instance, we're going to look at all of that stuff and try to build that to be better for, Loudon. The road course races that we had at Coda, for instance, we're going to build on that for Indy. So, there's a lot of different things that we're working on that we're doing and trying to continue to get better. But you're right, a lot of different tracks coming up right here in the summer months. We're returning to Atlanta in a couple weeks, which we've raced there earlier this year. So, it's going to be nice to hit some of these racetracks a second time with Randall and the guys to, really show what we've learned and where we've come as a team.
All right, let's jump over to Chaz Hepler.
Afternoon, Kyle. Thanks for taking some time this morning. Building on some of Jet's question about the change and everything and things getting in the perspective for you. What's it like, though? You talked about going to the track with Brexton. Now, you've always been one to put some pressure on yourself. What's it like from the dad perspective, so to speak, and watching him come through and learn everything that you've been so successful at?
It's been fun. I didn't think we'd start racing this early. I didn't think we'd really start racing at all. When he was, 4 or 5 years old, he kind of wasn't a whole lot interested in it, really. But then a switch flipped and he was all about it, watching the races on Sunday, asking me questions about it afterwards. And we went to the go-kart track. He liked it. We put him in a car. He liked it, so all of it kind of came on really quick. And he's really poured everything into it now and enjoys going to the track and running his go-karts, his bandoleros, his junior sprints, whatever we run. And so, just with the effort that he's able to put in, the amount of races that he runs and his enjoyment of it, we'll keep doing it. So that's been pretty cool.
Let's go to Vanessa Markov.
Hi, Kyle. So for being a Cup Series driver, being involved in so many different projects can sometimes be considered a distraction. You own a truck team, you have a drink brand, you're very involved in helping Brexton through his racing career, but none of this seems to be interfering at all with your success and your progression. Is there actually any aspect of these other commitments that are serving to benefit you as a driver?
Actually, that's a great question, because the one that is benefiting me the most is actually racing with Brexton and being with Brexton and his driver coach and his mentor, his crew chief, his motorhome driver, his hauler driver. Samantha's the chef and the cook and making sure we're always fed and scheduled on time and dressed ready to go. So that's the biggest thing to me is when I'm out there at the race now and I'm driving, I'm thinking to myself, okay, if I'm driver coaching myself, what can I tell myself that I need to do differently? I'm always asking myself questions now, or I'm telling myself, okay, the car's doing X, Y, Z, so I need to communicate it this way to the crew chief so they can make changes to make it better. Like, okay, if I'm a crew chief, I'm going to ask myself, all right, well, what do you mean by that? So then I try to decipher it in another way, just a lot of thinking of different ways. And so that's actually, I feel like, helped me a little bit the last couple of years of working with Brex and asking him questions all the time and helping him, coaching him is getting me to the point of where I need to be better on Sunday.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, I think we might have time for 2 more questions. If we can make them quick, we'll go to Mick Moninghoff, then we'll have Scott Walsh wrap it up.
All right, real quick. The one question I always ask is, personally, what's the number one thing that you think you have working for you right now?
I question that every single second of the day. What is one thing that's working for me? I don't know what's working for me. There's really, from the previous question that she asked about all the different brands and things that I do, I pulled in so many different directions. So I'm not sure I'm doing any of them great, but the one thing that has been good and it has been fun was just the working relationship with RCR and ECR and everybody over there this year. The team, everybody on the 8 car has done a phenomenal job. So working with Team Chevy, all that stuff, I feel like all that's going right, and that's our first focus. You win on Sunday, everything else seems to take care of itself.
Scott, you want to wrap it up with the last one here?
Sure. Kyle, just kind of following off on that, up on that, with the move over to RCR, did you feel maybe success came a little quicker? That, you know, that it might be more of a longer of an adjustment period, you know, than there actually was?
Definitely, no question. I mean, you can just pinpoint Fontana, right? We won the second, third race out, whatever it was, and I had no idea, no concept that we would even be that good that early. But the guys had a great program built off of last year with Tyler, and we were able to do this or run the same or just as fast as he did, and come out with the win at Fontana. You know, so that definitely came a lot earlier than I expected. But then some of the other runs that we've had this year have been about how I expected, and then you know, we've been able to you know, win at Talladega, which that's kind of a crapshoot, so I don't really count that one. But then we backed up our Fontana performance with a Gateway performance, and we were able to win there. So you know, 2 wins this far into the year, I feel like it's very respectable with a new team, and you know, I'd love to see us be able to score, you know, maybe 3 or 4 more wins before the end of the year, especially during the rounds of the playoffs, and set ourselves up for a really strong playoff run and all the way to the championship in Phoenix.
Thank you.
All right, Kyle, thank you very much. You've been very gracious with your time and answers. We appreciate the support. Everyone that joined us, thank you for the support. We can't wait to see everyone here in Long Pond for the Pocono 400 on July 23rd.
You
Thank
got
you
it.
all.
Look forward to it. Thanks.